Anyway, we're on HR Shouts and Whispers. It was such a crazy week. So it's a good thing that everyone is safe and everyone is trying to settle in a normal schedule on a Saturday. Okay, despite the crazy uh, adventures of the typhoon. Anyway, we're going to talk about career shifting and maximizing your potential with our guest. So I'll introduce him. Okay, Mr. Jovit Moya. He's a film producer.
Oh, hello. It's nice
Hi,
to see
Joe.
you.
So how was your week?
Hectic. We had lots of deadlines to meet and a few other things. So, yeah, we were working hard. And syempre, nagkaroon ng mga bagyo, so we commiserate with uh, the people na medyo nasalanta. And we tried, of course, to also raise some help for some people
Oh,
in
yes.
our own small little way.
Of course, of course. So anyway, let me just ask you. So right now, okay, let me just go through. Okay, people are curious. Okay, we have you for career shifting. Okay, so as you know, Mr. Jovit Moya is an actor. So let's go through your a little bit of history here. So you were with That's Entertainment, and how did you land into being an actor?
Um, Paano nga ba? Wala. I was picking up my mother in a beauty parlor, and beside her was Inday Badiday.
Mm-hmm.
She invited me to the show, and after that, that started it. And then I was introduced to Helen Vela, and then I started going out and coming out in her TV series Lovingly Yours, and then That's Entertainment started, and then she recommended me to Kuya Germs, and then from there I ended up in the movies with Seiko Films, and this all happened in the 80s. So yes, I am an old man.
That makes me an old woman. Okay, so I'm an 80s baby also.
So it was all just a matter of chance. It wasn't really something that we all planned. It was just, you know, hapstance. It was just totally hapstance.
Hmm. And okay, so you were also okay. So you went into with Kuya Germs. We all know That's Entertainment. It was very popular during the 80s. Okay, so I used to watch it at 5:30.
Yeah, it was. It was it was a must-see show during the time. I mean, entertainment was changing, di ba? The face of
Oo.
entertainment was changing in those days.
Oo, kasi dati no'n ano eh, in thing yung ano, That's Entertainment and, yeah, okay, so it provided entertainment for me at 5:30, yun. Pagka-bored na, okay, habang nag-a-assignment, okay, nanonood ako ng That's
Kasi
Entertainment.
prior to that, the talk shows had yung mga siyempre older crowd, 'di ba? Older
Yeah.
yung mga host, 'di ba? Sila Joe Quirino, 'di ba? Yung mga ganoon, sila Ariel Ureta. So, siyempre, uh, this was the time na, uy, mga bagets naman yung host, 'di ba? Something new.
Of course, okay.
Yeah.
And I was like into showbiz. That's why I was in when I went to college, I took mass comm and I'm a film graduate actually.
Wow, awesome,
Before
awesome. I I didn't study anything about film, but I ended up
uh,
in film.
oh, but you had the exposure, of course.
Well, I had number one, lakas ng loob and
Mhm.
kapal ng mukha.
Okay. So what did of course, I think you were in front of the cameras and now you're behind cameras. So and then somewhere in the I think 1990s or early 2000 you went into the police force. Okay.
Yeah,
So how was it?
in 1992, I entered the police academy. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
and then, ayun, later on in my career, I became a cop and I became a college professor. I did many things, actually.
Okay, so let me ask you. Okay, so when before career shifting was uso. Okay, you already were career shifting. Okay, so what was going on through your mind?
Well, syempre, parang Madonna lang yan. You know, si Madonna is always reinventing herself, di ba?
Mm.
So, ano ako I get bored kasi. So, syempre, you try something else. And when I was younger, I was always a high sensation seeker.
Mhm.
So two things are consistent in everything I do. Number one, there's always about the adrenaline rush. That's why I became a police officer. I became an airplane pilot. I
Mm.
also do skydiving. Basically, the adrenaline rush. So I got the job where I could get that adrenaline rush. Um, that was my drug of choice. It wasn't because it's not illegal.
Of course, yeah, it's not illegal.
But I've
Correct.
always also been an academic.
Uh-huh.
So studying, getting advanced degrees, and teaching in universities have also been the other side of me. I always like to study hard because I hate being the idiot in the room. I always like to walk into a room and know that I am if not the most intelligent guy, at least, along with intelligent people, I can
Mm.
carry the conversation, whether you're a doctor, whether you're an engineer, whether you're a physicist, whether you're a chemist. Um, uh, you know what I mean? I
Mm.
hate being in a conversation and not knowing what's happening.
And I watched you in Eat Bulaga because I watch like Bawal Judgmental. Are you also a bilingual? Do you know Spanish?
I am a polyglot, actually.
Okay. So that's like a good skill base, okay,
Yes,
as in you're a
I speak
polyglot.
Mandarin. But why am I building up myself? We're supposed to be talking about HR and stuff. And
Okay.
yeah,
Yeah, because
alam mo, learning
Mhm,
languages, I should tell
mhm.
people, because my field of study is in neurology and neuroscience. So learning languages is very good for your brain. Uh,
Mhm.
Siyempre, alam mo yung mga tao, di ba, they're always worried about, kasi humahaba buhay natin. So people are always worried, what if I get Alzheimer's? What if I get cognitive degenerative disease?
Mhm.
Maraming
Mhm.
klase kasing form of dementia. Alzheimer's is just the most prominent, pero marami rin klaseng dementia. Uh, People are always worried about these things. And I always tell them, look, there's no cure for it, but you could always delay the onset by learning new things,
Yeah,
learn,
exercising your brain
learn new
muscles.
languages. Yeah, learn something new all the
Mhm.
time, because
Mhm.
there is such a thing called neuroplasticity, where the
Mhm.
brain rewires itself. And every day, everything we do, like this very conversation we're having, uh,
Mhm.
our brain, as we learn things, it's rewiring itself. You're growing new neural networks.
So it's good to be like maybe learning a new skill, like
Oh,
learn not just
absolutely,
languages.
absolutely. So, how do you relate these things to? Of course, I'm talking in terms of science, but how
Mhm.
do you relate these things in terms of HR? Because your
Yes.
show is all about HR. Ultimately, as an employee, you've got to consider, are you growing intellectually? It's not
Yeah.
always about the money. Again,
Mhm.
that's only part of it. But again, are you growing intellectually? Because some people are so secure with what they already know that they're not interested in other things. In
Of
ancient Rome,
course. Mhm.
they had a saying, "A man I am. Everything human interests me." So when people say, "Look, my field is in let's say engineering," I don't care about chemistry. I don't care about humanities. I don't care about these other things. But really, you should care, because it deals with humanity. So everything, all the facets of human life should
Mhm.
interest you.
And of course, curiosity, okay? Having an adventure with, exploring the world, not just through the internet, but through books.
What's so funny is, because when we were growing up as children are always inquisitive. Children are always curious. And yet,
Hmm.
at a certain point in our lives, we stop being curious. I
Hmm.
don't know why. Many people have stopped being curious, and that's adulthood for them. But
Hmm.
really, learning should never stop. especially that we live in such interesting times. Because, when I was younger, you had to go to the library. Of course, if you were well off, you had a library in your house, you had encyclopedias, you got Reader's Digest, you had all these other books. But now we have knowledge on our fingertips. We've got these little things, and you can go Google.
We can Google, and we can just be cheap.
Absolutely. So saying that I don't know, of course, nobody has a monopoly of knowledge. It's normal to say I don't know, but I don't know shouldn't be a final statement. It should be I'm going to find out.
Yes. So let's go back to career shifting, okay? So because here in the Philippines, when we get
I'm going to
jobs,
smoke a cigarette because I can't smoke inside my office. So
okay.
Since I'm out here, I'm going to go.
Just enjoy it.
I'm going to go back in there for another meeting, and I won't be able to smoke.
Yeah. So, ladies and gentlemen, we just had to squeeze ourselves in Mr. Jovit's schedule. So this is his break time. But anyway, career shifting, okay, so because in the Philippines, okay, people are so used to having one job as for their lifetime, okay, so when you were career shifting, and for people who are career shifting, what should they consider?
Number one, you ask yourself, what is it that you want? Because in everything that we do, there is a motive. You want to drink water? There's a motive. You're thirsty. I want to smoke a cigarette. I have a motive. I'm antsy. I need a nicotine rush. I want to. And there is no human activity. There is nothing that you will do that does not have a motive. So that being said, go and analyze yourselves. Ask yourselves, what is it that I want? And once you have identified your want, go after your want. Right? Most of us are afraid to go after our wants. Why? Because we are risk adverse.
And of course,
life is full of risks. Go take a risk.
And maybe they're scared because afraid of what other people might think. So when you shifted, okay,
I really don't care about.
That's what I like about you. It seems like you don't care.
Because ultimately, you just have to ask yourself, I mean, am I hurting someone else? No. Am I stepping on other people's toes? No. I'm fine with that. No matter what I do, my conscience is clear.
Of course, yes.
So if you can look at the mirror in the end of the night and say, I am a decent person, I have not hurt anyone. You know what I mean? You should be good. Take the risk. Change, because ultimately, if they are not paying your bills, what they say doesn't matter. Kung hindi sila ang nagbabayad ng Meralco mo, ng upa mo, ng mortgage mo, ng kotse mo, wala silang say sa buhay mo.
Okay, so when acting, okay, actors, okay, they're known to be good.
Before you go into that, I interrupt you. But ultimately, no matter if you decide that you want to do a paradigm shift in your life, if you want to shift into something else, I always say do a SWOT analysis, because you cannot do anything if you don't know what your strengths are. You cannot do anything if you do not accept that you have weaknesses. Why? Because you don't have to improve on your weaknesses. You simply must focus on your strengths, because the chances of your success is greater if you focus on your strengths rather than improve your weaknesses. But you have to understand what your strengths are, what your weaknesses are, okay? So once you've identified those two, then analyze. With my strengths, what are the opportunities that lay before me? What can I do with my strengths? Ano ang pwede kong gawin sa buhay ko na ito ang mga bagay-bagay kung saan ako magaling? Tama ba yun? And then once you've identified those, then you think, what are the threats to your plans? Because syempre you've made your plans, di ba? So what are the downsides? Di ba? May external threats, may internal threats. Ano yung external threats? May mga kakompetensya ka na, may mga nauna na sa'yo, di ba? Di ba?
Mm-hmm.
Ano yung internal threats? Yung internal threats, ito yung mga weaknesses mo, di ba? Ito yung mga kakulangan mo ng resources, di ba? Maraming bagay-bagay. But you cannot think of switching successfully if you do not understand your strengths, your weaknesses, your opportunities, and your threats. Because only then can you draw a map, an outline
Mm-hmm.
of where you are going. Because you have to set short-term goals, mid-term goals, and long-term goals.
Yes. Siyempre, kasi kailangan mo mag-strategize kasi,
Right.
siyempre, things are not, I mean, the dream to become a reality, they have to have like steps and then milestones, plans,
Correct.
etc.
Correct. So you have to analyze, where am I in my plans? Diba? From zero, that's where you started. You took the first step. Diba? But ang goal mo is in 100 steps, nandito ka sa point na ito. You have to every so often analyze, nasa ilang steps na ba ako? How close am I or how far am I to my goal? Diba?
Mm-hmm.
We have to constantly analyze ourselves. We have to constantly pause. We have to constantly accept na, oops, ito yung mga issues natin, ito yung mga problema. And di ba? Huwag nating laging tingnan yung sarili natin na magaling. Dahil lahat tayo may mga faults. Walang taong
Of
super galing.
course. Oo. Kasi kung masyado kang magaling, well, back si Superman ka or, part ka ng Justice League.
At saka,
But,
one more thing is you have to learn to prioritize. Kasi sometimes sobrang busy natin. Feeling lang natin na busy na tayo, pero pag inanalyze mo yung kinabibisi natin, half of those things are really not important.
yeah,
Lalo
of
na when you're
course.
in a managerial position. When you are in a managerial position, the hole that managers sometimes fall into is micromanagement. Kinabibisihan mo yung bagay-bagay na dapat dinelegate mo sa ibang tao. Hindi ba? What's the point of managing if you are going to micromanage?
Yeah, kasi you're going to exhaust yourself if you're
What's the point of
micromanaging.
hiring people if you don't give them the trust that they can do the work?
So you're into film production and you're managing people. So what's an ideal work environment for you?
I've always started my career, even when I was a young man. I've always started as in a position of authority.
Mm.
As an actor, of course, I commanded my own schedule, my everything else. And then later on, I became a police officer, but I did not start as a PO1. I started off as a lieutenant. So I was already in mid-management when I started. I've always, I had my own company and so on and so forth. So I was always in a position of power. Because I am a type A personality. My personality is type A. So I'm always gung-ho. I like being in command of things. I like being in the lead. I'm competitive. So, pero there's a way of doing things. You want to do it in such a way that you're not an asshole. You have to think that these are fellow human beings. We are all ultimately equal. In the eyes of God, in the eyes of nature, we're all equal. So you treat people with justice. You treat people with truth. You treat people as fairly as you can. Since we're in management, one thing that most managers fail in, yung mga tinatawag natin na mga people who don't know how to wield power. Alam mo yon, yung
power trippers.
Hindi kasi alam mo kasi you have to know how to wield power. Kung may pagagalitan ka pa, when you censure people, you censure them in private, but you praise them in public. You know what I mean? You let people know you're praising them, but when you have issues, you talk to them one-on-one. Yan ang mga hindi naiintindihan ng mga tao. And even in show business, maraming ganyan. Because wala silang they don't have the academics, they don't have the puso to back it up.
Well,
Sometimes.
I was in the entertainment industry also before I was in HR. Well, it's actually kasi a flat organization. Sometimes there are well, hindi ganun ka-organized kasi yung system.
Well,
Okay.
hindi yun eh. Kasi also sometimes biniblame natin sa artistic temperament.
Mm-hmm.
Pero we're blaming it too much on artistic temperament. That's an excuse for being an asshole. But there is
Oh,
no
you
but there is no excuse for being an asshole kahit artist ka pa. No one, no one, no matter what your profession is, no matter how rich you are, no one has an excuse to be an asshole.
Yeah, I like that point. Kasi, sabihin nila, kasi artist ako, pwede akong
Pero hindi,
magmura.
that's an excuse so that they can abuse people. That's an
Yeah.
excuse so they can be, oh, I am this, I am that. But no, at the end of the day, you get more things done when you have the respect of people and not fear.
Okay. So we're in the acting industry, entertainment industry, but actors are known to be people persons, okay? Kasi kaya nga magaling silang politician eh. So what can you say about that? Okay, what skills as an actor are you using now, okay, to manage people?
Uh, I have no shame whatsoever. I, I speak I speak out. I am ready to meet people. I'm ready always to meet new people, to get to know them. I think it helps in the business because no matter what business I'm in, it's always best to have a connection with the people you're working with the people you're going to do business with. It's not just all about intellect or matter of factly. Ito yung facts of the case. Ito yung facts na kailangan natin. Okay, just sign it. Hindi ganon eh. It's always best. You work better. You will always work better, and if you can do it with a smile, if you can make a connection, you find time for a little bit of small talk. Get to see where you intersect with these people. It's about humanity. That's something that some people don't understand. It's in the work environment, in trying to reinvent yourself in management. It's all about the human factor. It's inside here. It's the heart. It's not always the mind.
Of course, having a connection with people. Okay, so
Kasi, if you look at the father of modern political science, Niccolo Machiavelli, he said in his writings in his book The Prince, he said a prince must be both loved and feared by his people. I'm paraphrasing. I don't remember the exact verbatim. I'm just simply paraphrasing. But he emphasizes on being loved and feared because there's respect. That means there's the human factor. That's why you are loved, because people know you'll take care of them. People, you can connect with your fellow human beings.
Okay, Jovit, I'll ask you. Okay, so most Filipinos are quite they're not that assertive. Okay, so because you said that you have such you're an assertive person and you have no shame. So for introverts, okay, what can you advise them to improve on their communication
You have to find
skills?
your voice, because in this world you cannot advance if you cannot be heard. If you cannot communicate what you know, what you can do, what you can bring to the table. So you can only do that if you have the strength of heart to be able to say, what, this is what's going to happen. This is what we are going to do. But ultimately, you can only do that if you see that we are all equal. Because if you do not see that we are all equal, two things will happen. You will either be too assertive and look like an asshole, or you'll be too meek because you're too insecure. You have to have that balance right in between.
Yeah, striking a balance. Okay, so it's kind of hard.
But a room, I can be with senators, I can be with business leaders. I walk in there, I'm confident. Why? Because at the end of the day, we breathe the same air. We are made by the same God.
Mm-hmm.
Diba? So I
Oh.
have no insecurities whatsoever. And this is why I keep telling people study, study, study. Because if you have learned a lot of things about various topics, hindi ka magmumukhang tanga sa isang usapan because hindi ka mai-insecure dahil alam mo kung ano yung pinag-uusapan, kaya mo makipagsabayan.
So, what was the subject? What were subjects that you really studied in depth?
Ah, well, I went to pre-med, to psychology. I went to med school. I went to post-grad, took up neuroscience. I studied about being a police officer.
Oo nga.
I studied avionics. I studied being a pilot. I love physics.
Mm.
I study a little bit of everything. Uh, um, but syempre, iba-iba rin ang capacity ng tao.
Of course.
I was privileged that I was able to was able to study in the Netherlands. I studied in Spain. I studied in America. I studied here. I studied in Australia. So I have a little bit of an advantage. But today, the young people of today, you have this. Ang daming free courses. Alam mo nung panahon ko, I had to go abroad to get those courses.
Yeah, it must have
Now,
cost you a lot of money.
pero now we have the internet. For
Oo.
goodness sakes.
Oo. So, ang is, okay, so you're right now you're into film production, okay?
Well,
So,
I am into film production.
mhm,
I'm also into I'm the business development manager of Mothership Incorporated, and
mhm,
I'm a film producer in reality entertainment. I also do marketing for a migration firm, visa migration. So it's World Connect. So when people want to migrate to Australia, to New Zealand, to Canada, we kind of process these things. Um, I stopped teaching.
mhm,
I don't have the time,
mhm,
but I also find time to manage a charity called the Apostles of Christ Mission, and
mhm,
we take care of the most vulnerable members of our society. We started off taking care of the homeless, aged,
mhm.
those that are makita mo may uh, na-stroke na, nasa isang gilid lang, pag naulanan, nababasa dahil wala na silang kamag-anak, wala silang bahay. And then we moved on and we added, now we concentrate more on abandoned babies. So
Oh.
babies that were born, iniwan lang sa basurahan, iniwan sa sidewalk. And you'll see these on my Apostles of Christ family page and also on the Jovit Moya Facebook. Once in a while on my Instagram, Jovit Moya as well. So follow me because ultimately all these blessings are nothing if you do not share them. You have to understand that if you are a Christian, if you are a believer in the salvation of Jesus Christ, you know that none of this is ours. None of this
Mhm,
success is ours. Our money isn't ours. Our house isn't ours. These are all gifts of God. But God gave us these gifts so that we can make a difference in the lives of other people. And so I encourage people, I always encourage people, how do you make yourself an instrument for God to answer the prayers of other people? It's not always about us, it's not always about our prayers. Because sometimes God may not answer our prayers, but He may give us the opportunity to be the answer to someone else's prayer. And that, my friends, is the greatest honor, to
mhm.
serve God by returning those blessings, because we are simply caretakers of these blessings.
Okay, that was beautiful, Jovit. So right now, okay, so we were discussing off air, okay. So I said that there are a lot of people my age. I'm in my 40s, okay, and a lot of young people who have lost their jobs, okay. So how can they maximize the pandemic to their advantage?
Ah, well, that's a difficult question. It's a very,
Mhm.
very difficult question because um, this is why networking is very important. We've got the internet, we've got social media. At the end of the day, sadly, who you know matters. So the wider your the wider your social circle is, the more opportunities will open for you.
Mhm.
We live in an age where we can, you don't have to walk into the HR. You can always get people
Mhm.
oh, si ganito, magaling sa ganon, let's contact him. Pare, anong ginagawa mo? Are you employed now? Or, at the end of the day, connections to your fellow human beings matter. And we have the tools, we have the internet, we have social media, we have so many ways to make friends, to make connections. But please, widen your circles. It's not always your neighbor or the people you go inuman with or the person you play pusoy with or your cousin. Join groups on Facebook. You'll find HR groups. You'll find
Mhm.
engineers groups. I have a fraternity. We are the free and accepted Masons. So, um, we are all over the world. So join groups. You'll find groups of psychologists, groups of waiters. Groups of salespeople. But these
Mhm.
are opportunities for you to see people who are in the same field, people who have the same interests, like artists or whatever it is. There is no excuse to not seek these groups and to actively participate, even just online with these groups. That's the
Okay.
first
So,
step. That's the first step. Second step, it depends on the level of your education.
mm,
It depends, of course, on your status in life as well. If you do not have much in life, the government has TESDA. There are so many skills that you can learn for free or for a very minimal expense. But you have to find the time. Ang problema yung, alam mo yung laging sinasabi, pag gusto may paraan, pag ayaw may dahilan. Hindi ba?
tinatamad.
Di ba? So pagdating sa pag-aaral ng mga bagong bagay, sa pag-aaral ng mga bagong skills, yung gobyerno natin nandiyan ang TESDA, maraming mga NGO na meron silang mga training programs that are free. Hindi ba?
Yes.
Imbis na mag-spend ng time kalalaro ng ML, kakalaro ng mga games,
TikTok.
chat pa TikTok, learn something new. Learn something new because every diploma that you get, every certificate that you get is another tool in your toolbox of life. And that toolbox of life is something that you can carry with you no matter where you go. You go to the province, you go to Manila, you go abroad. That is a toolbox that you will always carry with you.
Is there another step?
The third step, of course, is, sabi ko nga kanina, SWOT analysis.
Mhm.
Because dyan mo ma-determine, ano ba ang gusto mong mangyari sa buhay mo? Do you want to start your own business? Do you want to get a new job? Do you want to switch to a different field? Yung kanina pinag-usapan natin.
Yes.
Understand your strengths, understand your weaknesses, and then from that, ask yourselves, what are the opportunities that I have? Do your research, do your due diligence. Hindi ba? And then what are the threats? What are the downsides? What are the possible, stumbling blocks that I may encounter? So yun.
And then self-reflection, okay? Like they're always going through self-reflection, like which
Well,
I do every start of the year during New Year.
when we started, I said, identify your wants. You
Mhm.
cannot identify your want if you don't do self-reflection. But I tell people this: uh, do uh, do not do uh, New Year's resolutions, because that means you are trying to fit yourself and continue what you have as of yourself into the next year with a few
Mhm.
modifications. Why not totally reinvent yourself?
And it's a better time now,
And
okay? Because it's
yeah.
the present is always the better time. Okay, so you know what? I'll just greet our viewers, okay? We started off early this evening, but we have a few viewers, okay? Of course, we'll greet Oliver, okay? Oliver's here. So he said something, okay? It's in Spanish. S.A.S. mi hermano, buen trabajo, hermano. Oh, I think he's looking for a job or good job.
Gracias. Gracias.
Okay. And then, so how did you see? So he has a question. How did you see your opportunities before? So are you like, for
I,
example, how would you know it's a good, you know, opportunity for you?
when I was young, I did not know that. I simply, I simply wanted something, and I went after it with all my heart. And I have, I have some failures. You learn from your failures.
Mhm.
So it has not always been one success after another. So I have had ventures which did not really go the way I planned, but I would never have known unless I actually tried it. And the lessons that I took from those, I used in the next field.
So that's the difference. Like, some people have the confidence, they're like eager to try something new. They're not risk adverse, okay? Because some people are too scared to fail that they end up not trying at all.
When you're younger, you take more risks. As you
Yes.
as your prefrontal cortex starts to mature,
There's an
then you
explanation.
begin then you begin to do a risk analysis in everything you do.
Oh, okay. So there's a downside to be, when you analyze things pala. You have like that preno. Okay. So moving forward, okay. So we talked about your steps. Okay. You had like a SWOT analysis, widen your network skills, etc. But how do you deal with relatives' criticism? Okay. Oh, bakit yan ang ginawa mo?
Again, I don't care if you're not paying for my Meralco bill. Sorry, but you do not have a say in my life. If you are not paying for my food, if you are not paying for my monthly amortization, then you really, really have no say in my life. I do respect your opinion, but at the end of the day, I am my own master. Right?
Yes.
I am going to take the risks. I have studied these. If I fail, I failed. Let it be a lesson, right? But if it succeeds, then you can stand up and say, I did this with God's grace, right? Because
Yes.
God favored you and God gave you the opportunity to succeed.
Okay. So
I always tell
the
people, look, guys, um, you have to be great. Okay? Ano yung great? Number one, give. G, huh? Let's study the letters of great.
uh
Give your best always. You can't be mediocre. You can't give it halfway.
mhm.
When you commit all the way. That's why I said if you fail, you fail.
Mm.
But this is why you should always have an exit strategy. Because if you fail, then you take your exit strategy, you cut your losses, and you go on to the next. Huwag niyong pagpilitan yung talagang hindi mangyayari. Huwag niyong pagpilitan yung talagang hindi, wala na pag-asa. Okay?
Oo.
So when you give it your best. If it doesn't work, move on. This is why you plan with an exit strategy. Next letter. Anong next letter? R.
R.
Release your fears. Walang mangyayari kung lagi tayong takot. Hindi ka makakatawid ng kalsada ko, iniisip mo, paano ko masagasaan ako? Paano kung ganito, ganoon? Paano kung ganito, mabagsakan ako ng meteorite? You know what? Ng meteor. Hindi ba? At the end of the day, release your fears.
Mhm.
Pray. Ask God to give you the strength. Di ba? Okay. Next. Ano yung
E.
E? Enjoy. Huwag naman masyado seryoso sa buhay. Alam mo, ang buhay kailangan balanse. Ha? I used to teach in New Zealand. I used to teach healthcare subjects and healthcare management. I used it, and it was beautiful because may balance ang studies, ang work, and ang life. And that was encouraged by the government, that was encouraged by the schools, and that's encouraged by the culture. Okay? So learn to enjoy the journey of life. Stop, look up and say, Oh God, it's a beautiful day. Wow, ang ganda-ganda ng trees. When was the last time you said, it's a beautiful day. Thank you, Lord Jesus, for this beautiful day. When you
Yeah.
take in the sunlight, you know what I mean? Smell the flowers, you know what I mean? Stay in the rain, get wet, and say, nice. Hindi
Yeah,
ba?
be a kid. Enjoy
Yeah, kid,
everything.
enjoy life. And the next letter, A,
A.
act with passion. Okay, it's not enough to give it your all, but you have to be passionate. Okay, because you can be giving your all to something someone just told you to do. Your boss may have told you to do something, but if you are not passionate about it, you're like a robot. You're just doing it mechanically. Because if you are passionate about something, no matter how difficult it is, you are happy doing it. Okay, and it will show in the quality of your work, in the quality of your life, in the smile on your face. Okay? And T, you have to transcend to make a difference. Okay?
Mhm.
What are you contributing to yourself? What are you contributing to the company? Right? How are you making yourself better? How are you making your duties and your responsibilities
Mhm.
better? Right? Transcend, make a difference. Am I innovating? Right? Am I, if there is an operations process, for example, at work, how can I improve this process to make it more efficient, cost efficient, time efficient, personnel efficient? There's so many ways, but it requires you to have the passion, right, and the want, and the drive, and the willingness to transcend, to change, to get higher.
Jovit, may mga questions na pumapasok, okay? I think people are curious about the specific transitions, but I also want to ask you, was there a low point in your life? And then how did you manage to get out of that low point in
Oh,
your
many
life?
things. I had a few low points in my life. There was a point where I actually went bankrupt a couple of times. I had to file for bankruptcy.
Mm-hmm.
One of my businesses, actually, two of my businesses went bankrupt. And then, syempre, actually make it three kasi pati yung aking club and restaurant. But that was beyond me kasi nag-shift yung tides from Malate na buo naging BGC. Siyempre,
Oh, nalipat.
nag-iba rin yung kultura, di ba? Then,
Uh,
um, I was out of the country at the time.
mm,
I was studying in Madrid, so hindi ko rin naasikaso. So there were things. Inabutan ako nung economic crunch in
mhm.
2008, 2009. I was heavily invested in foreign real estate and stocks and everything. So marami ring mistakes. Um, pero bangon lang, bangon lang. We have. As I said, we have good networks. We're very friendly.
Oo.
We have friends. We have connections with people. People trust you. People will give you another chance, and then you keep going up. Just keep going.
Okay. Move forward lang, di ba?
Always, you cannot dwell in the past. Alam mo, you'll spend so much time worrying and crying and comparing. Dati ganito ako, dati may ganyan ako. That's dati. That's what. Think about now. Think about the tomorrow. What can I do now? What can I do tomorrow? You can't do anything about
Mm.
the past. The past is there, but you learn from those mistakes. You learn what not to do again.
Oh, and yan na yon. At least meron ka ng past knowledge na pag ginawa ko to, ito yung mangyayari. So
Yeah,
just
of
be
course.
thankful.
Meron
Oo.
ka ng reference point in your life na hindi theoretical.
Oo. Kasi madami sa atin, books lang, ginugol search lang, ito by experience, di ba?
Alam mo sa buhay, there's ups and downs, ups and downs. But you have to have this is why you have to have faith in God, because if you don't, then wala kang sinasandalan.
Oo. Tapos ito, so this is a commendation from Froilan Aloro, okay? So I thought I've seen great in Francis Cog and at Anthony Pangilinan. Then now I have Jovit Moya. So had
Ah,
I known, wow. Okay.
thank you, thank you, thank you.
Uh, okay. And then actually see Oliver, a question from Oliver. So what were the lessons, okay, that you found in each career, okay? So being an
Iba,
actor,
iba-iba,
policeman.
iba-iba. Each of them, alam mo, it's difficult to say it. Pero ito na lang yan. Ito na lang yan. Um, I learned different things.
Mm-hmm.
I learned the theoreticals of things that pertain to a certain occupation.
Mm-hmm.
But in order to also teach myself and keep myself abreast with how to improve myself, I always made it a point to teach. Okay, like I took pre-med, I went to medical school, I took neuroscience, I specialized in sleep medicine and so on and so forth. But I went to teach. I went to Emilio Aguinaldo College. I was teaching in nursing. I was in, I was one of the first teachers in the pilot program when PNC became PNU because the first time we offered a pre-med course there.
Mm-hmm.
I was one of the pioneer professors, and I'm just thankful for that. And many of my students are doctors now, and I'm very
Mm.
proud of them. And syempre, but things like those. So I became better in what I was doing simply because I was teaching. So if you're good at something, teach other people. Um, I became a police officer, diba? But I also taught. You know, at one point I was teaching in the police academy. I was teaching in the Air Force School. I was doing a lot. The best way to teach yourself also new things is to always keep abreast with new stuff, but teach it. Because as
Mm.
you teach, you share knowledge. Tandaan nyo to, kahit gaano pa kadaming diploma ninyo sa likod ng upuan ninyo, walang valor yon. Because ang diploma, nagkakaroon lang ng valor, depende kung ilang tao ang nagkaroon ng kaalaman, ang nakapag-share sa kaalaman na natutunan ninyo. So the more you share knowledge, the more value your diplomas have.
Oo.
Titulo, kahit attorney ka pa, kahit doktor pa, wala yan kung wala kang tinuturuan, kung wala kang sinesharean ng mga natutunan mo.
Okay,
Papel,
you passed on.
yeah. Ang
Oo.
knowledge sineshare.
Yung ano, what will make you, kasi you also like parang ended certain, well, for the term lang, okay? You shifted from another, so you ended from one career to another. But what will make you quit a career?
Some burnout.
Burnout.
I've been burned out a couple of times.
How do you deal with burnout?
Wala. Take a vacation.
Take a vacation.
Yeah,
Okay.
vacation because that's the best way to soul search. I just get a backpack, get my
Mhm.
passport, buy a plane ticket, leave.
Were you
I
a,
I, I,
were,
I would always go to a place where I don't know anyone, where
and
I've
were
never
you
visited.
ever, Jovit, were you ever depressed? Would you say that you went into depression?
Yeah, maybe for a day.
Okay. But not for like a long time, enough to go to a psychiatrist.
No, I think one of my strengths, which I would love to encourage people to have, is the ability to entertain yourselves. You have to find the beauty of life. You have to find the comedy in life. You have to find the joy in life. Kailangan meron kang abilidad aliwin ang sarili mo. So what do? You know what I do? Get on a, take my backpack, ride it, take a bus, go to Bicol, get a bicycle ride, end up in my own volcano all by myself. You know what I mean? Things like those. I would like to do things on my own, na walang kasama, because then you do a lot more soul searching. You can
Mhm.
plan, you can plan, you can analyze, you can meditate. And pag may kasama kasi, you're bound, ano gusto mong kainin? Ganito, hindi ko gusto kong kainin. Hindi kayo nakaka-stress pa. Uy, tara na, may punta tayo doon. Sayang yung araw, nakahiga lang tayo. Kailangan makita natin. Wait, pumunta ako dito para mag-recharge ng utak, hindi para
Oh,
mag-sightseeing. Alam mo yan? Sightseeing ako, pero bukas na. Right now, I just want to be alone. May mga ganon.
yeah,
So,
you don't want to be bound to a schedule. You just want to like,
wala. So maraming paraan. You travel in the Philippines, you travel locally. If you have the means, like, like what I did, I just traveled abroad, just hop on a train in Europe, move from country to country, backpacking. I'd sleep. There was a time I was in between what I wanted to do. Uh, I I slept in the train station. I mean, hindi ako nag-hotel. I would, may mga homeless doon. May mga gypsies, and I'd go. I'd be there with them. I'd put my backpack in a locker, lagay ka ng coins, because you get a different perspective in life. Alam mo, when you fail, hindi naman yan about kung sino makakabangon kagad. Sometimes when you fail, pag nadapa ka, minsan doon ka lang muna kasi tingnan mo, uy, okay pala dito, ibang perspective, iba yung view from down there.
Oo.
And then you
Maiba naman.
and then you get a different perspective in life. Hindi ako maarte. So you know what I mean? I don't always have to be in a hotel with waiters. I've lived on the beach. When I was younger, I tried being homeless in France. I was in Nice and I was just there and literally I was living in the beach. Pagising ko, I'd go to the train station, shit, shower, shave, and you know what I mean. But it gave me a different perspective. This is what kahit anong trabaho kaya ko. Alam mo naman, kahit na mayaman, kahit na mahirap, kaya kong barkadahin. Bakit? Kasi I have a different perspective in life. So tayo, wag nating ilimit yung social circle natin doon sa mga tao na katulad lang natin. Alamin din natin na merong punto de vista rin yung ibang tao. I like talking to jeepney drivers. I like talking to the man on the street because I get insights which I would never have gotten talking to purely executives lang. Kasi many people, lalo na if the higher you get, you're insulated. Hindi mo na alam kung ano nangyayari sa baba. So you cannot make good decisions when you don't know what's happening.
So, ito, okay, how many career transitions can an individual make in his lifetime?
As many as you want.
Diba? Kung ano yung maisip mo, diba? Bored ka na dito, you can shift to another.
Most people will say, syempre, marami kang resources kaya pwede mong gawin yan. Pero, hindi lahat tayo, pare-pareho ang resource natin. Sarili natin. We are our chief resource. This, sa puso natin. The fact that we're alive, that's a resource. Di ba? The fact that we can lift something, we can do something, that's a resource. Our chief resource is ourselves. So embrace yourself. Embrace God, the talents He gave you, know what they are. Go for it.
Okay, so you described yourself as a gung-ho person, okay? So imagine an ordinary person, less aggressive, okay? How can you shift, as in step by step? So we went through the introspection, the step-by-step guide, but what's the start in career shifting?
This is why I always say, mag-aral kayo. Because you cannot shift to another career kung wala kang toolbox na bit-bit. Di ba? So, hindi ka pwede magsabi na, I'm gonna teach medical subjects kung wala ka namang background. Hindi mo masabi, I'm going to be a marketing manager if you don't have the background. Di ba? Kung wala ka, so dapat nag-aaral ka. Ngayon may internet, take courses, may YouTube, may TED Talks, may mga, there's Khan Academy, there are daming free courses. Many universities around the world, Harvard gives free courses, MIT gives free courses. For goodness sakes, have the drive and the tiyaga to look. Tingnan nyo lang, tiyagain nyo lang yung isang oras yung paghahanap sa internet, may makikita kayo mga free courses.
Okay.
At kapag ikaw ay may kaalaman na, magiging kampante ka sa sarili mo. Pag kampante ka sa sarili mo, magiging mas confident ka kasi alam mo rin yung alam nila.
Okay, Jovit, okay, there is a misconception or stereotypes of artista. How did you react to people saying na, artista lang yan?
I generally don't have that experience because sa umpisa pa lang, I make my presence felt. I became a police officer. People would say, artista lang yan. But I went to the Special Action Force. I was in a alam mo yung SAF, di ba? I was assigned in the SAF for a while. This is a combat unit. I am a skydiver. I am a, you know what I mean? I am a underwater operations a graduate. Um, I have been in the field. I volunteer for the field. Pag may mga raid nung araw, nangunguna ako, I'm there in the front. So nobody could say, I have medals to say, na, look, I earned my right to wear the rank. You know,
Oo.
I am the, I am, magyayabang na rin ako. I have the Bronze Cross for bravery. So,
Mm.
uh, I've earned it. You know what I mean? So nobody ever got to say na artista lang yan because I worked doubly hard. Alam mo, two things kasi. Doubly hard because number one, I was an
Mm.
actor. Number two, I came from a privileged background. And number three, because I'm gay. So I was living in a macho world where, syempre, totally different. But I
Mm.
always challenge people in saying, what can a straight police officer do that a gay police officer can't? And I have the medals to show that I am equally, if not better, at
Mm.
doing these things.
And let's talk about, okay, so diversity, okay, in the workplace. So what is your general comment on the treatment of gay people in the
At the
workplace?
end of the day, if you are a person na may kukote, na ikaw level-headed, and you see people as human beings,
Mm.
who people go to or go with in the privacy of their bedrooms is none of your business. Ang importante, tapos ba yung trabaho? Ano yung quality ng trabaho? Hindi ba? Yun naman ang basihan pagdating sa professional life eh. Who or what we do in the privacy of our homes is no
Mm.
one's business.
Yes. Oh, tama yan. Okay, so thank you, okay, Jovit. Okay, so we learned a lot from you, okay? So moving forward, okay, so what should we expect? Do you have any projects that you want, webinars that you are plugging, or
Now,
how are...
right now, please go to Upstream because we just launched today a new platform. If you want to watch your movies,
Mhm.
mga classic Filipino movies, and we're coming up with new content. It's a very new platform. We just launched it. Google nyo lang yung Upstream. Um, you can watch all the movies, and then we're trying to get more content for you guys because we just launched it. So we're getting international content, we're getting local content, and in the future, we're going to be launching concerts there, virtual concerts. You don't have to go to the concert anymore. You can be safe in your house. You can just pay for the ticket and then just watch it online. We're also going to be showing all the Metro Manila Film Festival movies, which is usually pag December, may MMFF.
Mhm.
Now you don't have to go to the cinema dahil wala namang cinema talaga dahil sarado lahat.
Mhm.
Just go to Upstream. Upstream is there for you. Also, we're coming up with new movies. I just finished filming in New Zealand a movie for reality entertainment called Runaway. It's starring Maureen Robovich.
Mhm.
She is the Asia's top model, and
Mhm.
Keith Thompson, the actor.
Mm.
So it's a love story. Watch nyo. It was filmed in New Zealand, and then syempre produced namin reality entertainment. Tapos, also, if you guys are going to, you decide you want to study, work, and live abroad, go to World Connect,
World Connect.
World Connect Consultancy. Just contact, or you can contact me directly on Facebook. Remember this, we are not an employment agency. We're not offering jobs. You want a job lang, you go to POEA, okay? We are a visa consultancy for migration and for other visas, okay? Um, so if you want to possibly migrate, we can show you the pathway. We can put you on the right pathway, okay?
Mhm.
So yun yun. Also, if you feel like you want to help out yung mga abandoned babies, please go to the Apostles of Christ Family Mission page, or you can message me at Jovit Moya on Facebook. We need donations. So, alam nyo, we are running on our friends and helping us. So, marami kami projects. We had recently a project sa Mindanao. We were feeding the children. Kay Muslim, kay kay Kristiyano yan, tao pa rin ho yan. Pag nagugutom yung mga bata, we are there for them. We cannot help everyone. So, alam ko, minsan maraming lumalapit sa amin, but we cannot help everyone. Limitado pa mga resources namin. We are a new organization, but we are trying to help as much as we can. So, syempre, we prioritize. Kung kayo may extra dyan, alam nyo, 20 pesos, you can feed a child. Some people say, I can't donate if you can donate 20 pesos or 100 pesos, we can do something with that.
So we can probably call on our members.
Donation of 100,000 or 1 million. You know what I mean? Nakakakain nga tayo, nakakapag-inuman nga tayo, bibili ka ng Johnny Walker, bibili ka ng 1,000 plus na alak. May mga tao dyan, 20 pesos lang napakain mo na. So, you know what I mean? Wag natin kalimutan. These are hunger is against human dignity. There is no person that should ever be hungry. As long as you have something, share it. Share it. Wala kayong time, wala kayong chance to share it. Support our cause because we work with children.
So they can get in touch with you. Okay, our members
on my Instagram, Jovit Moya, and on my Facebook, I have the page, the Jovit Moya page. Then I also have my own personal page, which is Jovit Moya. They're both open to the public. Send me a message if you want to help out. If you want to make donations, I can tell you how. We have GCash, we have BDO, we have other means. We have PayPal. Let me know.
Yeah. Okay. We will post this. We will post on the comment section how they can get in touch with you for these donations. Okay. There is a pahabol question here. Okay. So Froilan asked, okay, so will you include reality show type of stuff in Upstream? And if I have a reality type of concept, can I pitch it in?
Absolutely. Absolutely. We accept, if you can convince me, it's a good show. It's a good story. Also, syempre, ngayon, alam mo naman, walang mga sinihan, so we have to produce it on a smaller budget kasi syempre, mas konti lang ang return. So we have to figure things out. So yeah, I'm game. If you can pitch something, we're game.
Mm-hmm. So Froilan, they're game. Okay, so you can get in touch with Jovit Moya here. Okay, so we just interviewed Mr. Jovit Moya, who he's an actor, film producer, business development person, okay, also in immigration, and was a former policeman. Okay, so he talked about going through the career.
These are kids. I don't know if you can see it, but these are kids that we feed. These are kids that na we support. These are kids in Mindanao na pinapakain namin and everything else. And this is our Apostles of Christ. I don't know if you can see it. That's our cash. You can see it, but yeah.
You can actually give me those pictures and then we can post it.
Yeah,
here.
they're on my Facebook. These are our nung lockdown. Ito yung mga police na nagtulong. They brought some rice and everything else. I don't know if you can see. Nakikita nyo ba? O sobrang.
It's the reflection is too strong.
Too strong ba?
The glare. So what we will do is you can give me the pictures, we can post it on the comment section.
So, yan, nakikita nyo ba? Yan. So these are the policemen, nung lockdown kasi sila lang ang pwede magbiyahe, nagdala sila ng mga rice and everything. These are some of the babies, nakita nyo naman. Ito po inabando na lang, iniwan lang sila sa basurahan and everything else. Yeah, yun ang problem. So ayan, this is our GCash. Ayan! You can see it if you guys want to make a donation.
So guys, these are the foundation for abandoned children. So if you want to make a donation, you can get in touch directly with Mr. Jovit Moya's page. Okay, so that's his GCash.
Yeah, that's not mine. That's the group's.
The groups. Okay.
Yeah. Sadly, I don't give out my number.
Just your page, okay. Your link to your page.
We have the Apostles of Christ, so our staff has ang namamahala. We've got different accounts also. Kasi we've got different... Apostles of Christ is a group, of course, of people. So, syempre, tutulong-tulungan.
Okay. So, I'm just noting here in the comment section. Okay, so that was like a very fruitful discussion. Okay, so as we leave, do you have one final message to our viewers?
If you like listening to Sunday sermons of how to live the Christian life, I have a YouTube channel. It's called Jovit Moya. So maybe twice a month, I come out with a video, a short video, and we talk about the Christian life, how you can change your life, how you can adapt your life, how to use the Bible as a rule and guide to become successful, how to use the Bible as a rule and guide to be a decent person, how to use the Bible as a rule and guide to be closer to God.
Closer to God, and perfect yourself to be worthy of God's grace.
Yeah, alam mo, everything you do, you should do it for the greater glory of God.
Sure.
Kasi,
Okay. And
alam mo, kahit gano'n ka ka-successful, kahit sabi mo maging bilyonaryo ka pa, mamatay ka, hindi mo kayang dalhin sa langit ang iyong pera. May iwan dito sa lupa yan. Hindi ba? So when you do things for the greater glory of God. And what greater way to serve God? What greater glory of God if you can share and make people feel God's love through you.
yes. So, two sentences, okay, briefly, okay, moving forward, Jovit, okay. So as we end this FB Live, okay, how can our viewers, okay, move forward? Okay, so of course there will be a lot of surprises, maybe typhoons, we don't know, maybe more people losing jobs, etc. So what can you impart to them this evening?
Um, you have to be innovative. I always ask people, think very well, okay, of what you can do and how that aligns with the needs of people today. Okay? Because you can be your own boss by being an entrepreneur. If you can find what you're good at and it aligns with what people need, di ba? So think out of the box. Lagi nating sinasabi yan, so-and-so na tama na out of the box. Pero hindi ba? You have to have a different perspective in life, in everything you do. Sayang I can't draw, but there are certain exercises sometimes I tell students of how to think differently. Hindi ba? Sayang lang, I can't do it here. Wala akong papel. Anyways, but think out of the box. Sometimes you have to take a risk. Huwag matakot sa risk. People, if you fail, people will say, we told you so. Okay lang yun. You learn something. You learn, ano ba ang, saan ba ako nagkamali? But before you do something, learn. Go to TESDA. Go to school. Depends on how much money you have. If you don't have money, go to TESDA. You have money, you go to school. But do your own diligence. May YouTube. May mga PowerPoint presentations sa internet. Di ba? Learn about accounting. If you're putting up a business, learn about accounting. Learn about how to save money. Learn about supply and demand. Di ba? Di ba? So, alamin nyo itong mga ito because ito ang mga tutulong sa inyo. Huwag tayong maging kampante. Alam ko na yan, magbenta ka, may tubo ka, ganito, ganon. Hindi lang ganon yun. May komplikasyon po yan. You have to learn about variable expenses, fixed expenses, so on and so forth. Yan ang rason. Pag hindi nyo alam yung mga ganyan, yan ang rason kung bakit may mga nalulugi. At yan yung mga rason kung bakit may mga presyo na hindi competitive. Kasi may value lahat yan. Sasahuran nyo yung sarili ninyo. Kasama yan. Hindi ba? May mga tao na hindi nila ginagawa yon. So basta sila tago pera. Minsan nakikita nila kulang yung pera nila. So maraming dapat pag-aralan. At yan yung mga bagay-bagay na yan, available na yan sa internet. Di ba? Learn a new skill, for goodness sakes. Tingnan nyo ano bang in demand. Kulang yung welder sa abroad. Di ba?
Mag-welder ka. Matuto ka mag-welding.
Matuto ka mag-welding, di ba? Bakit ka maiiwan na laging merchandiser na lang sa SM, di ba? Or sa grocery. Di ba? Mag-aral ka lang tapos sa ibang bansa, okay, sa ngayon, pandemya, wala pang sarado pa ang karamihan ng bansa. Pero itong next few months, magamit mo yan na pagpasok sa TESDA para matuto ka. by the time na mag-graduate ka, siguro naman meron ng pagbabago ng konti o pagluluwag na ang sitwasyon natin. Pero meron kang bagong skill at mataas ang sahod. Tama ba yon?
Yes.
Yun? So, yun. At dapat lagi kang gutom. Gutom ka sa success, gutom ka sa kaalaman, ha? Lagi kang gutom magkaroon ng mga experience sa buhay.
Good. Okay, so don't be afraid to try something new. Don't be afraid to fail. Okay, take risks. Okay, so those are valuable lessons. Okay, so our viewers can just watch the replay of this FB Live interview. Okay, and Mr. Jovit Moya, thank you for your time this evening. A very productive discussion.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, so we can now end this FB Live, okay, and then just watch the replay. And then for our next episode, so we will have diversity and inclusion this Wednesday with Elisa Corpus. Okay, so we'll see you at this Wednesday. Okay, bye, Jovit.
Bye. God loves you all.